UFC 318 is officially over. Max Holloway defeats Dustin Poirier by unanimous decision win in Dustin's last fight ever in MMA. This was a good fight. It was entertaining. Max Holloway looked phenomenal, but I'm a bit disappointed by Dustin Poirier. I thought Dustin could have done more in this fight. I felt like there were moments where he could have advanced more or tried to throw more strikes, and he just didn't. Going into this fight, I thought Dustin Poirier was going to win, and we said going into this fight, whoever advances more, whoever is pushing their opponent back more will win the fight, and that was Max Holloway. Max Holloway wasn't just outlanding Dustin Poirier, but the power was overwhelming Dustin. There was multiple times where Dustin was getting put on his back foot, and you could just see where Dustin's just having the Philly shell, hoping to God he doesn't get knocked out. He got dropped twice in the first round, and there was a moment where we're all thinking like, oh my gosh, this could be the end for Dustin Poirier in the first round. Going into this fight, I thought Max was going to look good. I thought he was going to outland Dustin, but I didn't think the power was going to be there, and it was. The fact that Max Holloway went from 155 pounds, knocking out Justin Gaethje, back down to 145, to getting knocked out by Ilya, to back to 155, outlanding Dustin Poirier, and his power overwhelming Dustin too. That's what was surprising about this fight. The biggest difference between this fight and the second fight was Max was outlanding Dustin in the second fight, but the power of Dustin overwhelmed Max, so he lost. But in this fight, Max gained that power, gained that size, and he looks better than ever. This is truly a new version of Max. Everybody was telling me, dude, I'm telling you, Max Holloway looks better at 155 than he does 145. And I just didn't believe anybody because I'm like, dude, I thought when Max Holloway beat Jose Aldo back-to-back times, I'm like, oh, that's prime Max. But he looks better now and more technical now than he did 5 years ago, which is insane to say. Max Holloway at 155 pounds, he looks more energized. He's landing more accurate strikes, and the power. There was multiple times where Dustin was on his back foot, and you're just thinking, oh my gosh, he's going to get knocked out. And we said going into this fight, we said in the pre-fight video, whoever pushes back their opponent more will win. And it's kind of obvious, it's hard being a good counter striker, but when you're facing two very good boxers, almost always, whoever is leading the dance, whoever is marching forward, whoever is advancing more will win the fight just because of the volume. And we saw that in this fight. Max was pushing Dustin Poirier back more, pushing him on his back foot, and Max Holloway was just outlanding Dustin Poirier, and the volume and the power was overwhelming him. And that was just a phenomenal fight by Max Holloway. Dustin Poirier, he had moments where he looked really good, but Max just looked a little bit better. There would be rounds, too, or moments where Dustin Poirier landed, a nice 4-5 punch combination, but then Max Holloway would just return with another combination, but had a little bit more oomph to it, and the power overwhelmed Dustin Poirier. Let's go over the rounds. In the first round, Max dropped Dustin twice. The first time was with a straight hand down the middle, and then literally like 10 seconds after that, Max Holloway threw a left hook, and Max literally was just standing over Dustin, and Dustin's on the ground, which was an insane round. It was like, oh my God. In the first round, Max dropped Dustin twice. So I gave that round to Max Holloway 10-9. In the second round, Max landed a lot of combinations and was looking really good when he was pushing Dustin on the back of the cage. It felt like whoever would blitz forward, that's who would win the round, right? Dustin drops Max with a right hand with a left hook behind it, which was insane. Max had like a weird knee to the ground, then got back up. Then Dustin, towards the end of the round, attempted a guillotine at the end of the round, but it wasn't really close. It feels like every time Dustin is going for a submission, he'll never get it because he does. There's this thing, it's called position over submission. And in jiu-jitsu, that's the biggest thing, because if you're not secured in your position, then you won't get the submission, because the moment you go for a guillotine and you just have the head, someone's going to push your leg down, go to mount, and then now you're screwed. Or when he's going for the heel hook, if you're not trying to get under the person and trying to get your legs on the hips, they're just going to pull their leg out. And that's what Max Holloway did. Going into the third round, Max kept pushing Dustin back. It felt like Dustin would land like a nice 1-2 down the middle, and then Max Holloway would return that with like a 1-2-3-4 leg kick, and then Dustin's on his back foot. And instead of Dustin Poirier like countering, like slipping away or turning into Max, he would just move straight back. So Max Holloway's just following him to the cage, landing 4 or 5 punch combinations. Max started landing the spinning back kick in the third round, similar to the Justin Gaethje fight. Max Holloway would almost bait Dustin in, where he would throw like a 2 down the middle and like stay forward, and then Dustin would, like, he's in the southpaw stance, throwing that one, the jab constantly, trying to go over with a hook, and Max would literally move his head back and then throw the spinning back kick, which was beautiful. He did that a couple of times where, I think it was in the 5th round, Dustin got hit in the neck by the spinning back kick. Going into the 4th round, Max Holloway was going to the body a lot and was out countering Dustin, which gave him this round. So in the 4th round, Max Holloway, he was getting hit a lot, and this is where you started seeing the damage on Max Holloway, where his nose and his eyes getting cut up really bad. And I think that's where you're starting to see in Max Holloway's career, where he might not be landing as much strikes as he did when he was in the featherweight division, but he's, more accurate. But the damage he is getting, it feels like it's more visible now than it was when he was in the 145-pound division. Dustin was landing and throwing great punches. He just didn't throw enough to win the round compared to Max, so I gave that 10-9 round to Max. So I give the second round to Dustin. I felt like, it was a close round. I still think you could give this entire fight to Max Holloway 50-45, but I did give the second round to Dustin Poirier. Third round, I gave it to Max Holloway. Fourth round, I gave it to Max. And then the 5th round, this is what I wanted to get to. Max was just throwing way more than Dustin, landing way more punches and kicks to the body, and Dustin kept telling Max, good punch, after every single strike was landed. Max Holloway would throw a jab to the body, jab up high, and then like a right hook, and Dustin would be like, you got me, good punch. Like, Dustin, if you're trying to win this fight, which it's a close fight, right? The second round I gave to Dustin. 4th round was really close. The 5th round, Dustin did nothing. For the first 4 minutes of the fight, Dustin did nothing. He would get hit with a shot by Max and be like, good shot, Max. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now watch this. And you're like, dude, what are you doing? Quit fucking. When the judges are watching the fight and a fighter acknowledges that the other fighter just landed a great shot, you know what the judges say? Oh, wow, Max just landed a great shot to the body because Dustin just told us, Like, Dustin, quit telling Max that he just landed a good shot. Are you trying to win this fight? It was definitely a one-sided fight. If Dustin would have started faster in the 5th round and just threw more strikes, he could have possibly won the fight, but who knows. In the last 10 seconds, Max Holloway pointed to the ground, and Dustin didn't want any of that. Right away, Max Holloway is just throwing hooks to the body, hooks up top, and Dustin's just doing this block and shit, and then he clinches up with Max Holloway, takes him to the cage. I gave the second round to Dustin. The 4th round was close, and if he would have won the 5th round, he could have possibly won, but this could be an easy 50-45 for Max Holloway. Very close fight in the second round, but other than that, this was one-sided by Max Holloway. He looked phenomenal. He looked really good. And this is a new era for Max Holloway. If we got to be honest, Max Holloway, let's say he faces Charles Oliveira next, and he beats Charles Oliveira, which I would favor Max Holloway to beat Charles Oliveira. He might rematch Ilia Topuria in the lightweight division if Ilia doesn't move up to welterweight and fight Islam Makhachev. I guess that fight, Islam versus Jack Della Maddalena, is what we're going to be watching, because if Islam loses to Jack Della Maddalena, I could see Islam moving back down to 155 and then setting up the biggest fight in the last 10 years, Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev. But if Islam beats Jack Della Maddalena, stays at the welterweight division, I imagine Ilia will fight at least twice in the lightweight division, and that could be either it could be Max Holloway, Paddy Pimblett, Armin, and maybe Justin. I think Max Holloway, he looks really good in this division. I feel like it's a ticking time bomb. Maybe that's what I have against Max Holloway. I love Max. I think he's a great fighter. But for me, it's like a ticking time bomb of Max Holloway. It's like he's been in the UFC for so long. I felt like he's only fought killers. And it feels like at any moment, the train is going to go off the rails, and it's the end. It's going to quickly decline. Maybe not as fast as like Tony Ferguson, but I feel like at any moment Max Holloway is going to get knocked out, and then it's just over, you know? But as of right now, Max Holloway looks great. He outschooled Dustin Poirier, messed up Justin Gaethje. I would like to see him fight Charles Oliveira next, or you do Max Holloway versus Dan Hooker. Right? Give Dan some love. He's on a 3-fight win streak, you know, or do Max Holloway versus Paddy Pimblett for the #1 contender. Great opportunity. Then do Arman Tsarukyan versus Justin Gaethje. I mean, come on. Let's set up some fights. This is the time where we need to start matchmaking and getting something going, you know? Other than that, great fight, great performance. I felt like this card wasn't that great. The prelims carried the main card, but the main event was the best fight on the main card. But yeah, overall, this was a good card. Not a bad main event. I'm happy for Dustin, and I'm so excited to see what they do with Max Holloway now in the future in the lightweight division. Be sure to like, comment what you thought about the fight, and subscribe for more content like this. See you in the next video.